why at the very beginning of Rick Warren's book, The Purpose-Driven Life, he doesn't start with saying, it's all about me or all about you. He starts his book saying, it's not about you. And so when we actually look at it and we ask ourselves the question, what leads you into temptation, or what leads me into temptation? When we ask ourselves, why are we so prone to fall into it? Usually there's usual suspects behind it, which are fear, isolation, maybe even the fear of isolation, insecurity, anger, resentment, jealousy, greed, false assumptions about other people, lies, loneliness, or revenge. You see, we're all tempted at times to believe the worst about people. We're all tempted to project our motives on other people, especially at the times that we are facing right now. And if we were to give an overarching theme to the usual suspects and we were to reduce it to two categories, we'd have to reduce it to this. We're tempted in gratification and our own self-interests and protectionism. Gratification and our self-interests to protect. And when we take our lead from these two things, our lives center on one thing: ourselves. And when we take lead from these two appetites, somebody will eventually get hurt. And actually, it's usually somebody's. It's you, and it's me, and the ones we care about most. And when we're self-interested in protecting our own things, and gratification, which in and of themselves aren't bad, but can take us down extremely terrible roads, they become, if we're not careful, poor leaders in our life. And when we follow them, they will lead you in temptation, and here's what they do: they leave you there. They'll lead you into temptation and won't lift a finger to deliver you from anything. And here's the deal: I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. I mean, you've got the bumper sticker, you've got the memories, you've got the scars, and you've got the wounds and the experiences to validate what I just said. When we're self-interested in protecting our own things, and we just desire so much self-gratification, if we're not careful, it leads us in circles. And you'll be chasing your tail far more and more and more than you want to. And this we know, there's never enough to fulfill. There's never enough in these things to be fully satisfied and finally satisfied. And when you feed them, they grow. And around you go. Therefore, the prayer to lead us not to temptation is a prayer to not just look within ourselves, the things that we need to find fulfillment, and to ultimately answer the question, why am I here? There is something more fulfilling than ourselves to answer that existential question. The one we all ask throughout history: what's my purpose? And it's more than self-gratification, more than self-fulfillment, more than just having rigid discipline. It's so much more. And if you want to know why you're here, the better question is, who am I here for? You ask that question, and the world opens up to you. And this is so important, because our fulfillment, our purpose, and our meaning are always found across the line of what's in it for me. And once we think about who am I living for, a meaningful life is found there. That's why at the very beginning of Rick Warren's book, The Purpose-Driven Life, he doesn't start with saying, it's all about me or all about you. He starts his book saying, it's not about you. And meaning requires that we become a means to somebody else's end, bigger than ourselves. Meaning and purpose require us to say no to us so we can say yes to something bigger and someone else. And so Jesus says it in these words. He sums it up: follow me. And in the word, deliver me from temptation, it's actually an invitation to say to Jesus, I choose to have you lead my life.